Oh. What's up guys, Nick here and you're watching Nick and Katie. So today we are at this series of skinny / rocks, and my idea here is to basically just ride this a couple times and then show you guys how to bail. There's going to be plenty of opportunities here to bail, and I doubt I'm going to get all the way through in the first try. So it's going to be a good way for me to show you a couple different bails and how I got out of them. So without any further introduction, I'm going to start back there and try to hit this skinny. Alright, so here, I realized that I was kind of getting stuck and was a little hesitant on getting over this skinny part here. So what I did is I locked up both of my brakes, so that way the bike is not going to go, it's not going to not go anywhere, but it won't move as much as obviously if you had it, you know, with no brakes. And then I put one foot down and I got off the bike. Pretty simple, not much of a bail, but just kind of showing you a little bit of bike control when you get into a sticky situation. So we're going to try it again, try to get into a bit of a stickier situation.
We're going to grab both brakes, but only if we're coming to a stop already. Use the bike as a point of contact and spot the landing.
So I didn't have an opportunity to put my foot down in this situation because I was already out over this kind of area where obviously I don't have 10-foot legs and I can't put it down here. So what I did is I grabbed onto both the brakes like I mentioned here in the previous attempt, and I jumped off basically using my bike, basically pushing off of the pedals and then jumping off like this and landing to safety. Now, one thing to always take into consideration is spot your landing. You don't want to like land on a rock, twist your ankle. When you're scoping it out, figure out where the hardest parts are going to be and scope out landings in case things go wrong, because inevitably, especially with skinnies, if you try it once, you're most likely not going to get it the first try. So spot your landings. I'm going to go take it for another spin and see if we can get into even more of a pickle, and hopefully we don't actually hurt ourselves. So we're going to keep pushing it and see what else we can learn. All right. So that time, I fell over into the more treacherous area. Now, because I was kind of realizing I was gonna fall this way, not be able to go that way, I made sure I had extra time to stop, grab my levers, and spot my landing. So I was safe that time. It could be worse if this was like, you know, a lot of times on skinnies, there's one side that's relatively low to the ground and one side that could be, you know, down a mountain or down into like a gully or something. So in a bad case scenario, if this was down the side of a mountain, I would have been a lot more screwed, but luckily we had a pretty decent landing on this side as well. Woo! Oh! See, that was a bad crash right there. See, I'm okay though. I'm generally okay.
I wasn't expecting all of my body weight to shift forward when I hit this rock, and it left me unable to get my feet away from the bike. You can see me try to spot my landing and put my left foot onto that big rock, but since my right foot got caught up on the bike, I kind of took a tumble.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. So that went a little south there. I actually thought I could just go right over that rock, but my tire totally got stuck and I kind of got myself in an unpredictable situation. Now that happened so fast, I didn't really have time to react to that the way that I would like to. And honestly, you should have been wearing knee pads, Nicky B. I didn't wear my knee pads. If I would have been wearing knee pads, this wouldn't have hurt at all. The only thing that actually kind of hurts right now is my knees. But I am fine. I landed in a relatively safe area. But that's what happens when things happen so fast that you can't really wrap your head around what's going on. So in that situation, the only thing that's really going to help you is falling so many times to where you kind of get used to just reacting. And that's not something that can really be taught. That's something that kind of just happens over time. And I've been a skateboarder ever since I was a kid, so I kind of know how to fall. And you know, hopefully my bike's okay. I know I'm okay. We're gonna try this one more time. Oh, looks like we're stuck. Oh, we're gonna count that as a ride away. So another thing that people always mention when showing people how to crash on a mountain bike is that they say, don't worry about the bike. Now, that is true, but at the same time too, these bikes cost mostly like, you know, like several $1,000s. So you don't want to just completely thrash your bike if you don't have to. Like obviously this little thing right here where I rode off, like if I would have just like bailed off to the side and threw my bike on the ground, I would have looked like a total spaz, and that's definitely not what you want to do. Same thing with when you get stuck up on a log like that and you have to kind of spring off of your bike like this. You want to continue holding onto your bike. You don't want to just let go of it and let, you know, it possibly fall and derail you or something like that. Now in situations where I fell like back here, where I had that uncontrollable crash, my bike was the last concern on my mind. And one thing to also consider too is that your bike can actually be a point of contact for you. The same way that your feet are a contact point on the ground, when you grab onto your bike and say your bike's still up on the log, even if you got one hand on it, that's still a point of contact that you can use to get leverage off of. So it's kind of important to consider your bike when falling, not necessarily disregard your bike when falling. So that's something I wanted to add as well. Another important tip with crashing is just being able to get off of your bike fast. So if you want to practice like what I was just showing you there, that kind of hopping on your bike and just getting off in all different situations with your feet switch, with your pedals like this or whatever. It's just good to learn. It's really nice and helpful to be able to do that, as well as knowing how to get off the back of your bike. So when you're riding like that, you can just kind of spring off the back. And I mean, you can catch your bike. Certain situations you gotta let your bike go. But again, regard your bike. Don't completely disregard your bike. And the final piece of advice that I can offer too is when you're crashing on your bike at high speeds, it's better to protect the important parts of your body, like your head, and also protect your wrist too. You don't want to just go completely landing on your wrist. You kind of want to absorb the impact and roll. So that kind of is interpreted by the rider. It's not going to be something that you're going to be able to gracefully do perfectly. So it's just a suggestion. If you're getting yourself into a high-speed crash, find a way to roll. Look for safe places to go. Don't go towards the pile of rocks. Go towards the pile of leaves or the, safe ground. So that's the final thing I can recommend. And as always, I'm Nick, and you're watching Nick and Katie. Thanks for watching.